So, hello and welcome people back to a less talky episode of Syberia on the Xbox.
I
For
plan on talking 3 times as much. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I mean less talky from the characters in the game. We can't enter this place.
I didn't get
No
that
point.
at
It's
first.
locked.
It's locked. We can't get in there. We can't steal all of the plot important things that are located inside of that room. So we have to go to our train back.
The way she
in order-
runs really messes with my brain.
How so?
Her feet and arms all move in a very odd way relative to how quickly she's moving across the ground. And she doesn't properly go up and down.
Because the perspective, more or less.
Her walk cycle is fine, but when she's running, it's, What?
Yeah, like she goes because it's not actually in 3D space. It gets
Wait, where'd
confusing.
that guy go? Witchcraft?
No, he was
now he's
further
gonna be
up.
back again. Yep. No, now he's back again. He disappeared mysteriously. He's a vamp.
Probably.
Maybe he was one seat over, I guess.
I just wanted to make sure there wasn't anything there. We have to go there later, but not now. We have to go to the train for a specific line of stairs.
So is this supposed to be like a holiday week, or why are there is there no one there's no sound of people talking or anything like that? You're just in a dead quiet university. Uh-oh, is it your fiance calling to
Hello?
tell you that he hates you because your job pulled you away from him?
Ah, it's you, Mr. Marson.
Oh.
Good day, and how are
It's
you,
your
sir?
very annoying
I'll
boss.
feel a whole lot better when this whole business is over and the sales contract is signed. Where the hell are you?
I'm in Barkstadt.
What? What in God's name are you doing there?
It's a magnificent university town. It would appear Hans Vorarlberg once passed by here several years ago.
So if he isn't there anymore, then there's no point hanging around.
I hear what you're saying, sir, but I have good reason to believe that Hans Vorarlberg is still alive. For the time being, I'm trying to gather extra information from people who have known him.
What's your next destination?
I'm not exactly sure yet.
Doesn't sound like you know too much, Kate.
I just need a bit of time, Mr. Marson.
Yeah, well, time is what you ain't got. Keep me posted.
It's not this isn't really at this point as a lawyer you'd hire a private investigator.
That is true, and
There are
you're absolutely right.
individuals- And I mean, you're like a bazillionaire or whatever, so
Probably.
and you could payroll it to the company and just be like, yeah, it's actually not worth the company to pay me this for my time here. I'm gonna hire a private investigator to sort this out, fly back over, and then once we've tracked down what we need, then I can fly over to do things that actual law degrees would help with.
Well, I mean, we know that her company is stingy. They didn't even give her $100 for the trip.
Yeah, that's true. But maybe she just doesn't carry cash. Maybe that's her thing, you know.
Actually, the reason is she was literally going to be done with it in an afternoon, so she didn't take any money. Still is very irresponsible, in my opinion.
That's right, people. Nico always carries thousands of dollars on his person. Meet him for a chance at a $100 bill.
Well, I mean, more if you're going somewhere very far away, you never know what's gonna happen.
Nico gives away thousands of dollars every day. Just meet him on the street to get some of it.
In any case...
If you ever actually if this channel ever actually gets popular, oh man.
Everything okay, Oscar?
Yes, Kate Walker. I am awaiting your instructions.
You should take a look around the station, Oscar. It's amazing. Greenhouses that are all lit up, exotic trees, and thousands of birds of all different colors.
I am obliged to avoid exposing my wheelwork to corrosive bird excreta. I shall remain inside to monitor the locomotive.
Of course. Well, too bad for you. You don't know where I might find any Amazon Forest Sauvignon, do you?
No, Kate Walker.
Oscar, the sailors have agreed to tow the train, but they want to get paid for it. I suppose you have some petty cash on board to cover traveling costs?
No, there is nothing like that. You will note, however, Kate Walker, that every effort has been made to ensure maximum passenger comfort.
Okie dokie. I'll have to sort this one out by myself then. The university authorities want us to move the train out of their station. According to internal regulations, trains are designed for coming and going, not staying at platforms.
They have a point, Kate Walker. However, our train is unique, and its clockwork mechanism has requirements that are beyond the station's rudimentary equipment.
Hey, that's not their problem, Oscar.
The problem is also beyond my mandate, Kate Walker.
Whatever.
So of course it automatically becomes our problem.
Oscar, see you later, alligator.
But yeah, now that we talked to the professor, we were able to pick up the mammoth doll. We wouldn't have been able to do that beforehand. She would just comment that it is a mammoth doll, and, well, obviously, why would she pick it up again? Just to carry it around with her. Especially since she already placed it in the train in the previous chapter. But while you're already here, there is one more person we should talk to about those suspicious berries.
That we need to find to lure the birds away from the stairs or ladder.
I'm sorry to disturb you.
Exactly.
What can I do for you, miss?
Where might I find some Forest Sauvignon plants, please?
No place around here, that's for sure. I don't know what you're talking about. That stuff's from the Amazon.
You know, for someone who knows nothing about the plant, you seem pretty well informed about which mysterious faraway country it comes from.
Oh, Amazon, Peru, Papua New Guinea, it's all the same to me. Gotta go. Gotta work.
Wait, don't go. You know what? I don't think he was being totally straight with me.
No, it's not quite as disgusting.
I don't know. It's pretty bad though. This spacing and justification has been messing with my eyes.
I mean, the art director was a comic writer, so maybe.
Comic books, the spawn of everything evil.
I mean, at least it's not red on a green background.
Or, I mean, the worst is yellow and white, but still.
Oh god.
Excuse me, station master, but I need you again.
Can't you see I am very, very busy?
No.
Well, I am. Very busy indeed. But, okay, I think I can give you a minute of my time.
Wait, you just had to go to a different place to ask him?
I'm looking for a kind of little juicy berry. You don't know where I could find some?
Look, lady, the station doesn't have any Sauvignon berries, not even Forest Sauvignon.
Funny you should mention it. That's exactly what I was looking for. Forest Sauvignon.
Sauvignon, raspberries, red currants, they're all the same to me. And we don't grow none of them here.
But you see, I have just read a very interesting book which says that the rare Sauvignon berry is actually cultivated here, in the famous Baruchstadt University aviary itself.
Well, if it's in a book, then don't believe everything you read, miss.
I don't know why, but I don't think you're telling me the truth.
What do you mean? I don't know. How should I know where to find your stupid grape? Go ask your professor, what's his name, Pons, the paleontologist.
But you're the master of this station, so you should know better than anyone.
Nobody tells me anything. I don't know. Go see the old guy with the fossils.
I've just been to see the rectors, and they told me to get the train out of the station as quick as I can.
I thought they'd say that. Rules are rules, and you gotta stick by them. Not a good idea to get into trouble with the university administration.
Absolutely. I've got enough worries as it is. What should I do then?
Well, I suggest you move your train.
But it's like I say, the springs are unwound. Everyone seems to think it's my fault.
The locomotive's engine might not work, it's true, but maybe there's some other way of moving the train.
It's a possibility, I suppose. What were you thinking of exactly?
Nothing. It's just an idea. Anyway, miss, you shouldn't hang around here. I have a job to do. Yes, sirree.
I won't disturb you any longer, Mr. Station Master.
Welcome to Barrockstadt, miss.
We could ask one of the other people about the money, and then we would actually learn that Katie just didn't take anything with her because she was there. She was going to be here only an afternoon.
And this game was made in a different time in international finance when actually getting money when you weren't in the country you were from was much more difficult.
Exactly.
There was no PayPal, instant transfers.
You don't see no ATM around here.
Well, also that.
What I do find weird is that they specifically ask her for dollars.
Yeah, American dollars. You know, the most consistently trustworthy currency of all time, the international currency.
Now,
I think China owns so much of it.
there is actually a certain reason they may be going for.
Nico.
Although it's a little bit outdated considering when this game was released, but I will explain it later.
Do excuse me, Professor. Professor, sorry to disturb you again.
What is it you want to know, miss?
You wouldn't know where the forest Sauvignon plants are kept in Barrockstadt, would you?
Why do you think there are Sauvignon plants here?
I read about it in a book at the library.
Try going to see the station master. If such a shrub exists, he will have a better idea than anyone.
It's actually he who sent me to you. I thought it a little strange, but he definitely said ask the paleontologist. You're the only one here, aren't you?
Yes, yes indeed. What a strange way to behave. Well, I think he must have made a mistake, that's all. Nobody tells me anything here, and maybe you should ask the rectors. After all, they are in charge of the university.
All right, thanks. I'll leave you in peace. I hope I haven't
Sorry?
Alright, so we have to give it to him manually. Then we will gain access to a new location.
Do excuse me, Professor. Professor, sorry to disturb you again. Professor, I have brought you something that should be of interest to you. Look.
What have you got there, then? Let's see. An effigy of a mammoth. But this is Hans' doll, is it not? Yes, of course it is. How on earth did you... Oh, my God. It's in my hands. It exists. It really exists. Please do excuse me. I'm deeply, deeply moved.
You see, your Hans and my Vorarlberg heir are one and the same.
This is incredible. After all these years, how can I ever thank you, my dear? Oh, I must waste no time. I'm off to my laboratory. I must study this carefully. May I borrow your treasure a moment?
Well, actually,
Don't worry, miss. I will take the greatest care of it. But I need to study it. You see, it has such importance to me that this very afternoon I shall deliver an impromptu lecture to my students about this very object. If you are interested in Hans Vorarlberg, then it is essential that you attend. Huh?
do you think so?
Obviously. Give me your telephone number and I will call you the moment my lecture begins. I will return you your doll at the end. You have my word.
And now he's going to skedaddle.
Alright, 2 questions. 1, in the Polish version, do they still call it dollars?
Yes.
Okay. And 2...
Like once you get it, it even has a dollar symbol on it. But what I was going to say is, back in the days of the communism, you could there were special stores in
dollar stores.
Yes, where you could buy things for dollars.
Yes. I just read a book about North Korea, and that existed in there as well.
Mm-hmm. So that's possibly what they were going for. That's why those bark people were interested specifically in dollars, because you couldn't actually get them normally.
That's the only way that they can get their tentacle porn.
Yes, all that
nowadays it'd be
exclusive stuff.
Bitcoin, really.
Alright, and those are all of the things that we need from the laboratory.
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 Laboratory. DD, get out of my laboratory! Sorry, I'm being difficult.
You don't sound quite Irish enough for that. Or Scottish.
Yeah, my hair is not red at all.
What is it you want to know, miss?
You told me earlier about a lecture on some ancient Siberian tribe called the Ooks or something?
The Yukals, my dear. Careful not to confuse them with the Ukistran people of Central Asia.
Do excuse me. I wanted to know if your lecture is going to start soon.
Your eagerness to learn delights me, my dear. But I haven't finished studying this marvelous mammoth effigy yet. Don't worry, I will call you. And see you later.
When did I give you my number?
You wouldn't know where the...
When you asked him out on that date.
I'll leave you in peace.
Sorry?
Well, probably. We could actually try to pick up the mammoth doll, but she would just say, "Oh, I should leave it here." This is what the grab icon was at the desk.
So, this has been a runaround of dialogue, which I dislike in adventure games.
Don't worry, it's about to end.
Because you can only do the joke of, haha, it's just like bureaucracy and academia in real life, where you have to just run around and talk to a bunch of people to accomplish anything before I'm like, yeah, that's why I left academia, and avoid bureaucracy as much as possible.
Yeah, and it's also, this game really needed a quick travel feature for this to not be a chore.
Gentlemen,
Yes.
forgive me for disturbing you again, but I have a little problem.
A little problem, a little problem. Everyone has little problems now, you know.
They are kept to oneself, and they don't stop the world from turning.
Nor trains from leaving stations.
Are you sure there are no Amazon Sauvignon plants in Barokstadt? Because I have just interviewed the station master and the paleontologist, and what they said really didn't convince me that there wasn't any here.
We are quite definite on this point. There are no Sauvignon plants growing in Barokstadt.
You see, miss, the Amazon Forest Sauvignon is a rare shrub that requires very special conditions for growth.
That's right. Conditions that are very hard to reproduce, believe you me.
Difficult, but not impossible. Fortunately, our garden has proved very successful.
Your garden? So, there is a garden in Barokstadt?
Oh, the garden. Well, if there was one, it would be only a little garden hidden behind the station. But our station master would be very proud of it.
He would take very good care of it, too. Everything would grow marvelously if we were able to cultivate it at all, and it would be all down to his gardening prowess.
And we would be proud as punch. And we wouldn't forget the role the paleontologist might play in this.
What's the paleontologist got to do with it all?
Without him and without his laboratory, how would we make the wine, do you think?
And it would be good wine indeed, my dear colleagues, would it not?
Oh, yes, a delightful balm to soothe away our long hours of toil and our heavy responsibilities.
We would wait impatiently every year for the arrival of the year's produce.
So, if I have understood you correctly, there are indeed Sauvignon plants in Barokstadt. They are cultivated in a garden behind the station, then turned into wine by the paleontologist's loving care, and finally, the pleasure of tasting is yours. If I'm not very much mistaken, gentlemen, you have a minor racket operating here.
Miss, you do go jumping to some hasty conclusions.
We never said that. That's not what we said at all.
We were talking in the conditional, you know, with ifs and woulds.
So, what would happen if I had such a hunch?
You would have to keep it to yourself, of course.
Yes, if you would be so kind as to keep it a secret. It would only be a small local concern, producing barely a few bottles every year.
That's right. Nothing so grandiose as a business. Otherwise, we'd be liable to be fined. So we can't count on your discretion, can't we?
Don't worry, I have no intention at all of getting messed up in anything. Could I possibly leave the train in the station for one more day?
Out of the question! Trains should first stop, then subsequently leave. That is the rule.
Perform the task we agreed on, quickly, and we will pay you on completion.
A deal is a deal.
If I were to need Sauvignon grapes, I could presumably find them in the garden, couldn't I?
If Sauvignon were to be found here, it would doubtless be situated in the said location.
But the station master would have to let you in. He would be the only one with the key.
Yes, if that indeed was the case, that would be the correct procedure.
Here we are, busy.
What was the location of the company that made this game?
France.
Where are they from? Oh, now I understand. The French. Let me tell you something about the French. They're the nation that gave us Police Gully.
Well, I mean, you would imagine that they would implement a subplot about wine, right?
Italians fine is best.
He just couldn't say it.
Do we have another one?